Hi, welcome to Box on the Box, Rock and Celluloid. Bob Bradford short, I'm over box, so going to do my regular box watch. I've changed the format a bit, so I'm doing box watch winter. So spring started on March the 19th, so this is everything I've watched in the winter months, as it were. So tracking backwards. So I'll do the TV first. First thing I'll start with is the Doctor Who 60th anniversary, the 3 episodes. The first one I didn't think much of, although the Bernard Cribbins cameo was good. The second episode was more like a classic Tennant Tate episode, and I thought that was really good. It was quite creepy. It was a lot of fun with the doppelgangers. I like that. I think actually the Bernard Cribbins cameo came at the end of this one. And then there was the one with Neil Patrick Harris, the Celestial Toymaker, and that's the one that introduced us to Ncuti Gatwa. And then actually was a Christmas special with Ncuti Gatwa and Millie Gibson. The 60th anniversary one, I'd give it kind of 5 out of 10. Like I said, apart from that middle episode, it just feels hampered by the sort of politics of today a bit. It feels like they're trying to shoehorn in and signpost stuff. And the whole Russell T Davies thing coming back, I don't know, when people go back to something, it's never the same. It's never like it was before. Ncuti Gatwa episode, the chemistry was good with him and Millie Gibson. He seemed like canny, but early days yet. Whether Doctor Who will kind of thrive in this reboot, I don't know. We'll wait and see. The Netflix Disney being involved is kind of a good thing from a budget point of view, but if they keep doing the sort of stuff they're doing with Marvel films and so forth, it might not be. But anyway, we'll see. But, I kind of zoned out of the Doctor Who thing quite a long time ago. Okay, Beef on Netflix. This was a show with Stephen Yeun and Ali Wong. Really funny, featuring South Korean American cast, American South Korean. Quite dark, not always likeable characters, but good length episodes. This was decent. It won Emmys. You can see why. If you wanted something to watch, like a dark comedy, then this is really easy to get through. I recommend it. And same with The Brother's Son. So this stars Michelle Yeoh as a Taiwanese gangster mum living in LA with a son. The son is over in Taiwan in the capital. The father gets hit on him, and it goes. They aren't successful, but the son comes over to sort out family business. It all gets convoluted, but it's very funny. Michelle Yeoh's excellent, and I forgive her for Everything Everywhere All at Once because I fucking hated that. I know it's got its fans, so that's really good. I started watching Shogun as well, keeping in with the Far East theme. I'm not sure about this yet. I'm 3 episodes in, and the second episode is good, but I kind of get away with the lead character. He's a bit like thinks he's Richard Burton or something. Although the guy who plays the main Japanese character, the actor, I forget his name, but I've seen him in Sunshine and so on. He's excellent. Production values are good, and it's a really good look at the culture. So I might stick with it. Then there was True Detective 4. Great to see Jodie Foster on the small screen. But this just didn't know what it wanted to be. It started off as some kind of mystical horror police procedural thing. And it had great atmosphere in the Alaskan, Alaska setting. It was actually filmed in Iceland. But I give it kind of 5 out of 10. It just went off the ball. There's been quite a lot of criticism of it, and I can see why. Drive to Survive on Netflix, the documentary about Formula One. I do enjoy this, but I must confess this season I've started to get a bit sick of the dramality elements. So it's like Hamilton will go in for a meeting with Toto Wolff and Mercedes boss, and it's like, no, you're not actually really having a meeting, are you? This is just staged for the cameras, and they'll be walking through the pit lane going like, hey, you're looking fat, you've been eating too much pizza, and like kind of, ripping on each other. It's like, it's just a bit false. I'm genuinely interested to see what goes behind the scenes. But I still like watching it. Then it was Breathtaking. So this was on ITV. This starred Joan Froggatt. She was doctor in the COVID. 3 episodes in the time of COVID. It was just looking at all the problems with PPE, the mixed messages from the government, like stuff going on in the hospital, the issue of moving the patients out. The elderly patients back at homes, all the stuff that went on. I know people are sick of COVID and are probably starting to move on, but don't. Things have happened in that time that have to be properly assessed, and, people, not bought a book, but people need, to be named and shamed. You know what I'm talking about. So don't forget that. There's Night Agent on Netflix. So this is like an espionage show. I think he's FBI, is he CIA? He's a night agent. He sits at a desk at night in headquarters, and if he waits for the phone ring, he gets a call from like some undercover people, and something's gone wrong. That's the sort of initial setup. It's like 24, but not as daft. I really enjoyed it. Good characters. The main lead was good. The two main leads. Really easy, you know, to just go on to the next episode. Entertaining. I think they're doing another one. So if you're just looking for something that's just going to grip you in straight away, 10 episodes, it's good. So my top two shows, my top Netflix one would be The Fall of the House of Usher. So wait a while to watch this. It's been out a while. Love Haunting of Hill House. Blind Manor, not as good. Midnight Mass is it superb. Another Mike Flanagan one. That's still his best one, but this is close. Great work from Bruce Greenwood as Roderick Usher in this, and Mary McDonnell as his sister, and then the awesome Mark Hamill as the lawyer fixer in this with a really deep voice. Really good. I mean, this was basically taking The Fall of the House of Usher and then kind of adapting it into modern times, and each episode had a Poe themed title as well. The only thing with these shows is I'm not always convinced by the wider ensemble, the people he uses. So I find some of their acting not always great, but there's some good deaths in this. It was probably the most well shot of his films. He probably had the biggest budget. I mean, his mini-series. I really like what he does, and he's got his fans. A lot of film directors, on Tarantino rates him as well. So check that out. And then the show everyone's talking about, Kin, the brilliant Irish gangster show. Watched the first series. Unfortunately, it'd come out earlier in Ireland, so we got the second series really quick. If you've not seen this, it's 8 episodes, both series. Just binge it. You set aside a weekend, because once an episode's finished, you'll just be like, I've got to watch the next one. The acting characters are really good, and it explores like the sexual politics, the patriarchy, the matriarchy, the male and female roles in this criminal family really well. It's got 10 scenes. Charlie Cox, Ian Gillan, the guy who plays the older brother who gets out of prison in the second series, he's fucking amazing. He plays the most horrible character, but check this out, it's really good. Okay, on the films. So we'll try and keep it, short and sweet. I'm just going to kind of pick stuff out off streaming. At the pictures, I've seen Poor Things, I've seen the Holocaust one. Sorry, The Zone of Interest. I've seen that. I've seen Killers of the Flower Moon. Napoleon. I've seen all those. You've probably seen them. Some are worth checking out. Some are brilliant. Some aren't. I didn't like Napoleon, for instance. But I'll just talk about stuff I've seen on streaming. So the first thing I'm going to pick out is Talk to Me. So this is an Australian, I think it's Australian horror film. This is really good. This is the best horror film I've seen in a long time. It just puts you right into the action. It doesn't try to explain the kind of game that the teenagers are playing in this, which I really like. You get these horror films where it kind of explains all the mythology stuff. It doesn't do that. So I won't tell you what it's about, but just watch it. It's really good. It's generally chilling. It's creepy. It's creepy right from straight from the off, and it's good. It's lean. The director knows how to tell a story, and he's created something lean, and I'm looking forward to watching what he does. Another film I enjoyed on Netflix is Reptile. This is a police sort of corruption thriller with Benicio del Toro. He's really good in it. Alicia Silverstone plays his wife. Good to see her back. Reviews for this were sort of mixed, but I think it's decent. It's just rare to see a good police thriller, so I enjoyed it. Now you can watch Ferrari on Sky Cinema. This is a biopic of Enzo. It's decent. I went to see the pictures, break my rules here, but Michael Mann, of course, I'm a huge fan. Adam Driver's good, but Penelope Cruz is a standout performance. So this film had been better received. She could have been in for an Oscar nomination. She's very good in it. But I like this. Had really good driving sequences generally, and there's a couple of spectacular crashes. If you're into Ferrari, if you're into motor racing, you will enjoy it. Then Leave the World Behind, on straight on Netflix again. Julia Roberts, Ethan Hawke, Mahershala Ali. This is a post-apocalyptic thriller. Really like this. It was too long. It was 20 minutes too long. The acting was really good. It had good atmosphere. It had that good sense of like, what the fuck is going on? They're not sure. The audience isn't sure. Kevin Bacon had a really good sort of little small part in it. So I liked, how this came off. Another quick one, Silent Night, which is John Woo's film with Joe Kinnaman. Not really the great comeback I was hoping for, but it's all right. Okay, so moving on. How to Blow Up a Pipeline. This is on Netflix. It's literally about some eco activist warriors building homemade bombs to blow up an oil pipeline, which there's various different reasons why they're involved in it. The characters are good. It's got a good structure. Again, the director tells a lean story. He's one to watch. I like this. Again, a good thriller, a good 8 out of 10. Well worth checking out. And then a film that's just far too good to go straight to stream, Society of the Snow. So this is the second version adaptation of, along with Alive, the 1993 film about the 1972 Andes plane crash. If you don't know this story, just watch this film. If you do know this story, well, watch this film. It's an amazing triumph of spirit of survival film. Photography's great. J.A. Boner, I think, is a really good director. He made The Orphanage, and The Impossible, The Monster Calls. He's good, and I think this is his best film. He only got 1 Oscar nomination, 2. And I don't know why I didn't get more, because I think it's really, really good. So check it out. Anatomy of Fall, that's another film I saw the pictures, but if you've not seen that, it's brilliant. So Nyad, this is on Netflix. This is Annette Bening and Jodie Foster. I knew nothing about the swimmer Diane Nyad till I watched this. What a lady, what an amazing lady. Basically sets out to swim some impossible thing from Cuba to Florida. This is one of the hardest things to swim, and she does this when she's like 60. She's already had a very successful Olympic career. I'll not go into it. Jodie Foster plays a best mate and trainer. They're both brilliant, as is Risa Fans, and they richly deserve their Oscar nominations. The film's not greatly made. It's one of those films where the performances make it. Maestro's another one I watched on streaming. I wouldn't recommend this. Bradley Cooper, he's gone all out with this. Kerry Mulligan, but I just didn't find out anything about Leonard Bernstein. It was more about their marriage, and they come across a bit annoying. They're a bit smug. They're kind of like this rarefied New York people with money and work in the arts, and I don't know. It's all a bit Met Ball, if that makes sense. But Met Gala, sorry. He's great in it, but I can see why it didn't win any Oscars. It's a film you can admire, but you can't love it. How to Have Sex. Now, I think this was on Amazon. This came out of the pictures briefly. The young actress in it won Best Newcomer at the BAFTAs. This is really good. It's about a group of teenage girls who go on a holiday after their GCSEs. They want to get drunk, they want to get laid, usual thing. And it just looks at the kind of sexual politics between young people, and consent issues and things like that. So it's very timely. But it's really worth watching. Really good performances, particularly by the main lead. So check that out. Another film that went to the American box office but came over here to streaming. I think it was Amazon. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. So this is an adaptation of a really beloved children's book that loads of American kids have read. I love this. I thought it was so good. The young actress playing Margaret's fantastic. Rachel McAdams is great in it, and it just looks all as grown up things. She has the first period, or they're waiting to get their first period, and high school stuff, and things like that. And it looks at religion and that, but through a young child's eyes, who's becoming like a teenager. But it's really good. I enjoyed this. Then High Life. So this is a film that came out a while ago. I saw this on Mubi, but this is, if you like sort of arty science, you'd often get art house science fiction. So if you like Tarkovsky, Solaris, this is kind of similar. It's got that vibe. It's Juliette Binoche, Robert Pattinson. He plays a criminal with some other people who are on a ship researching near a black hole. Basically, have been, they've said, look, we'll not execute you, have to go on this ship type of thing. It actually uses proper theoretical physics, and there's a couple of good theoretical physics bits, a la Interstellar. I really liked it. Something a bit different, art house sci-fi. You might like it. Claire Denis, she did Beau Travail, amongst other things. directed it. The Greatest Night in Pop. This is the documentary on Netflix, looking back at We Are the World. This is really good. I kind of forgot about We Are the World, but Lionel Richie's on it. He put it together. You see Michael Jackson, you know, cutting stuff. Bruce, all the people in the studio on the night. Steve Perry, if you're a fan of Journey, does this amazing vocal take. And Huey Lewis, what a guy he is. His sort of story and things is really good. Basically, someone doesn't turn up and he kind of steps in and does a tremendous job. Kind of forgotten about Huey Lewis, but really good. Okay, Into the Deep, the Submarine Murder Case. This is on Netflix. You might remember this case of the journalist. This is weird. This is so strange, but it's worth watching. Poor woman, absolutely horrible. Just what a strange thing to happen, or a strange story. So yeah, check that out. Another film called Tim on Netflix. Quite a good sci-fi thriller. It's like an Android home help thing gone wrong. I thought it was quite good actually. Then 20 Days in Mariupol. You can probably find this on iPlayer now. It's won the Oscar for Best Documentary. This is basically it's taking the raw news footage of this Russian camera team, Ukrainian camera team shot. I think they are. So we've seen some of that footage on the news, but it's got they've cut together this documentary. It's absolutely horrific, some of it. You know, you see this destruction of the city, the people being exiled from home because it's been destroyed, children dying, a pregnant woman dies. As my mate said on his cast, you know, if you want to know what, he's still not convinced that Putin's an utter cunt, then just watch this, basically. I watched The Old Oak on Netflix. Ken Loach. It's not great. It's no I, Daniel Blake. But if you're from the region, and if you live up in the Newcastle, Gateshead, County Durham area, it is interesting to see some of the locations. It makes the area that the woman gets attacked, one of the Syrian refugees, by some guy in the Newcastle top, and he's over in Easington now. Everyone knows you probably wouldn't get a Newcastle fan in Easington, and a Newcastle fan wouldn't do that. So there you go. The Beekeeper. What a ridiculous film. Jason Statham. You can watch it on Sky Cinema. As I explained to my wife, he's a beekeeper. He keeps bees, but he's also a beekeeper. He protects the hive. I'll not go into it. There's some really great fight scenes in this, but he's never under threat in it. It's just really stupid. I kind of was expecting it to be really good, and I probably will watch it again just because it's so stupid. But it's like the Transporter's daft, but it's kind of, you can still get on board with it. But this is ridiculous. So finally, the only film, like a little film from the past, I'll talk about Strange Days. So if you've never seen Strange Days, I haven't seen it in nearly 30 years, 25 years. So this is Catherine Bigelow, 1995. It flopped at the time. I saw it at the pictures twice, I think. Angela Bassett, Ralph Fiennes, Juliette Lewis, Michael Wincott. It's a sci-fi thriller set on the Millennium Eve. He trades in this kind of headset thing that taps into your neural pathways or whatever, and then it can record onto disc. That's how old-fashioned it is. The images and experiences, and you put all that on, you do the playback, and you experience things. It's a conspiracy thriller, but what was interesting is how of its time it was. It was like kind of slap bang in the 90s, you know. Juliette Lewis kind of plays a version of Courtney Love, you know. It's quite interesting. Angela Bassett is great in it, and she gets some seriously good action in it, and it's that thing, you know, the film had been a hit and things were on the way. You could see her as like a female action star back then. Ralph Fiennes is kind of playing this sort of sleazy guy, and he's actually pretty good in it. He looks quite cool. The only thing is, he used to be a cop, and that's probably the only unbelievable thing, because he keeps him getting beaten up and stuff like that, which is quite interesting actually, having that kind of, you know, the main protagonist who's, you know, always getting duffed up, a bit like a Private Eye thing. It's got its elements of neo-noir about it. The playback sequences are really well done, a kind of point of view shot, Alec De Palma, great technical tour de force there. Tom Sizemore's in it. There's some cool editing at the end. The music score's good. There's a great song at the end. You know, it's kind of one of those forgotten 90s films, but I think it's really good. Kind of when it started off, I was like, oh, I'm not sure about this now. But by the end of the film, and I still think it's probably a bit too long, I thought actually that was a really good 90s film I saw in the 90s, and I still think it's good. It's kind of at the time they made it, it was alluding to the Rodney King race, the Rodney King beating. There's a beating in it and a murder of African Americans. And obviously now with the George Floyd thing, you can see it in a different context. It's really interesting. Check it out, Strange Days. Okay, that is my box watch for the winter just gone. Obviously I'll see you for the what I've watched in the spring next in about 4 months' time. Cheers, 3 months.